little spiel on closing.
Thanks so much for having me, everybody. Like I said, I am Chance Badertscher from LaBelle Law. We're an office of about 30 attorneys, a general practice firm. All I do is residential real estate. That's my niche. We got attorneys that handle other things. This is all I do, 100%. Main job as an attorney, I'm here to protect the client. Make sure if we're representing the buyer side, my number one goal is to make sure that they don't default and put their earnest money in jeopardy. Actually, just had a deal recently with Cal Realty. Contract was signed back in December. Client wasn't able to get financing come the end of January when it was supposed to happen. I wrote a letter keeping that contingency open. Another couple months later, it turns out he's not going to get a loan at all. Thanks to my help, that client got his earnest money back, no default whatsoever. Everybody walks away to fight another battle. So that's my number one job. On the sell side, with Cal Realty, I don't really have to handle the title. Rick handles that for me. But I will review the title documents. It's my job to prepare all the closing documents, have those signed by the seller so that we're prepared at closing. I handle the closing statement. I check the taxes, do all the tax preparations. I went to law school because I didn't think I'd ever have to do math. Turns out I got to do ratios every once in a while. But, yeah, even after 5th grade, I should be okay with that. My number one goal and the thing that I really pride myself on is to keep lines of communication open. A lot of people say they'll get back to you via email within a day or so. I try to hit that within an hour. That's my number one goal. Most real estate attorneys out there, I don't know how long you guys have been in the game, but they're either 1 or 2 man operations where you never actually talk to them. You're going to deal with a paralegal. That's not the case with me. I handle absolutely everything myself. I've got an assistant. She helps me out, but your number one point of contact is right here. So if you ever have trouble getting somebody on the phone, give me a call. Maybe I can help push things along there. The reason I'm here today, not only to answer questions a little later, but I'm here to talk to you about what to expect on the day of closing, particularly on the buyer side. I know you guys handle both sides of the transaction, but today we're going to focus on the buyers. So, we've got to accept the contract. We've gone through attorney review. We had the inspection. Hopefully everything's been repaired. We've done that final walkthrough, make sure the place is still standing. So we're there at the closing table, ready to go. What are the 2 things that your client needs to bring to make sure that we close?
There's check.
Yes, that is number 1. We can't close without the money. Exactly. Anyone else, number 2? Need to bring an ID. Yeah. We got to prove that. We got to make sure that you are who you say you are. As we said, you got to bring a cashier's check. Does anybody know the legal limit on how big that check can be before you actually need to wire the funds? 50,000. Exactly. Anything over 50,000 needs to be wired. If I'm representing the buyer, I'm going to get you those wiring instructions a couple days prior, so hopefully you can send that in long beforehand. Number one thing that holds up closings are closers waiting for the money to hit the bank. So if we're able to get that wire out the day before, we're almost guaranteed that that money's going to be there. As soon as our lender gives approval for funding, we're out the door. Some of the documents that they're going to sign. You guys have all been there. You've seen the gigantic stack of documents from the lender. It can be a little daunting, but there's probably only 30 signatures that you actually need. Most of that's a lot of filler. It's my job to go through everything to make sure that the buyer understands everything that they're signing, because it can feel like they're signing their life away. This, in a lot of cases, buying a home, it's going to be the single biggest financial transaction of your customer's life. So it's imperative that they're comfortable when they're signing it. Obviously, we're going to have the closing statement, breaks down both sides of the transaction. I go through all those numbers not only the day before, but we're going to go through them again at the closing table so they understand everything that they're getting charged for. One of the most important documents that they're going to sign, it's the note. It's your promise to pay back the lender for all the money that they're owing. I go through when those payments are going to be due, how much they need to pay each month. I explain the rights of repayment in Illinois. There's no prepayment penalty in Illinois. So if they make an extra payment a year, it knocks something like 7 years off of a 30-year mortgage. It's a great thing to bring up to your clients. They will love hearing that they won't have to pay that. The other big one is going to be the mortgage. This is an actual lien that gets put on the property. This gets reported with the county, shows who the buyer is, shows all the terms of the mortgage, shows who the primary lien holder is going to be. Title company is going to charge you to record this document. You usually don't get upsold on that. You just get charged what the county's charging. They're going to record that, obviously, with the county, so everybody knows lender has number one priority on that property if things break bad. Another thing that we're going to take a look at is the deed. We want to make sure that our client's name is spelled right on that. That happens all the time where the seller's attorney just kind of glosses over the details. We've got to make changes at the closing table. That gets recorded with the county as well, so everybody knows who owns the property. After which, they're going to send the original deed back to my office. I'm going to make a copy for my records, send that on to the clients. Another great thing to tell your clients, in a couple of weeks after closing, they're going to start getting stuff in the mail. It's going to look very official, like it's coming from the state or the county. It's going to say, you need to pay us $75 to get a certified copy of your deed. Huge scam. Nobody ever needs a certified copy of their deed under any circumstances. They will provide this for you, but it's completely unnecessary. Other one, if we're not buying this place cash, we're getting financing, it's the closing disclosure. This is the lender's document that breaks down the transaction. Shows how much they're paying in principal and interest, shows how much they're paying to HOAs, shows how much they're putting into escrow each month. It's going to break down their monthly payment in all of those sections. If they have mortgage insurance, it's going to show those payments going in and out of escrow as well. It's also going to tell you when you can cancel that mortgage insurance. Anybody know the loan-to-value ratio on when you can make a written request to cancel mortgage insurance?
22%.
It'll automatically cancel at 22% or 78%. Once you hit 80%, you can make a written request to cancel that mortgage insurance. And if you're not late on any payments, 99 times out of 100, lender's going to grant that request and you can get rid of that. A lot of cases, that's an extra $100 or $200 a month that your client's going to be saving. So it's great for them to know when they can get rid of that. Closing disclosure is also going to break down all the title fees that they're getting charged that day. It's going to break down how much we're putting into escrow. If we're setting up an escrow account for the taxes, it's going to tell you how much you're putting in each month. It's going to break down all the credits that you're getting from the seller. If during the attorney review process we found some stuff wrong with the property and we need some credits to take care of some things, that's going to be shown on that. It's also going to show the tax credits. Obviously in Illinois, taxes are paid in arrears. So right now we're paying the 2018 taxes. That second installment in Cook County is going to come out in a couple months here. In 2020, we're going to pay the 2019 taxes. So it's my job to make sure that you're getting, our client's getting a tax credit so that they have enough money in that escrow account to pay those tax bills with me. Obviously, we're in a reassessment year this year. Taxes are going to get boosted quite a bit. So it's one thing when we're submitting our offers, we want to take a look at those previous tax bills, see if the property value's gone up, and maybe we can pad our prorations a little bit to make sure our client's protected.
What would you suggest when you write a contract now? Normally it'd be like 105% proration.
I always say in the city, you want to start with 110. If you're out in the burbs, maybe 105. If you're not sure, just write TBD, to be determined during attorney review, and then I'm happy to take a look at how those properties are being valued now, and then I can make the suggestion. If we can prove that it's going up like 115%, the seller's going to be willing to work with us, most of the time at least. I'm happy to fight on your behalf if you guys aren't sure, but I would always say 105 to 110 is a great place to start. Obviously, if we find out it's going to be bigger during attorney review, we can always request to change that. We're also going to get some documents from the title company. Sometimes there's going to be a gap policy. We're going to get what's called a bill of sale. That's for all the personal property. Everything that's on page 1 of that contract, the stove, the refrigerator, AC unit, maybe there's a fancy chandelier. There's even a line where you can write in extra stuff, if there's a foosball table or maybe a wine fridge that you want to stay behind. That bill of sale is going to transfer all rights to that property over to the new buyer. It's also going to ensure that there's no liens on any of those things. Maybe they just bought a fridge and it was on credit. This guarantees that that's actually been paid for. so nobody's going to be knocking on the door looking to repo it. We're going to get an affidavit of title, covenant of warranty. This guarantees that the seller is indeed the owner of the property, so they can actually sell it to us. And again, it's going to guarantee that there's no liens on the property and that no labor has gone unpaid. So you're not going to have any contractors knocking on the door demanding payment. Nobody's going to be recording mechanics liens on the property because the seller is absolutely paid for everything. The seller's attorney at each transaction is going to waive a title policy, or a title commitment, I should say. That's going to make sure that we're insuring over things like the taxes. We're going to make sure that those have been paid. It's possible maybe there are some encroachments. Maybe our building is actually over the property line. If this building's 100 years old, the insurance company's going to work with us. They're going to insure over that encroachment. Obviously, nobody's going to make you tear down a 100-year-old building. If we're buying a condo, there's going to be documents that we need from the HOA. We got to make sure that the seller's paid all the assessments. We got to make sure the HOA doesn't have a right of first refusal. If they do have a right of first refusal, we got to make sure that they waive that right so that our client's getting this property unencumbered. Also in the city of Chicago, big thing, HOA a lot of times pays the water bill. We need to get that water account number, make sure that that bill is getting paid on time as well. It's also going to show us if there's any lawsuits, not only against the HOA or anything that's tying up the property, but also maybe against the seller himself. If there's a past tax bill, title company's got to make sure that the seller's paying those taxes so this doesn't come back to affect the property at all. If he sells it without paying those taxes, that can spell problems for our buyer.
I'm sorry to.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a quick question. Okay, like for instance, Catalpa Gardens. It's up in Andersonville, Edgewater.
Hold on one second. Let's
Oh,
anything.
sorry.
Yeah, just because we don't want to have any. Yeah, so we'll hold that until after.
Yeah.
But yeah, remember your question.
You're also going to get an alpha loan and extended coverage statement. Again, this just says that there's no liens on the property. The seller hasn't encumbered it in any way. It's not going to affect our title insurance at all. We've already talked about the settlement statement. Again, breaks down both sides of the transaction. If you want to take a look at how much the seller's making, you guys all get copies of that so you know how much this property's worth or how much that other broker's getting paid. Yeah, that's basically it. It's that gigantic stack of documents. Usually takes me about 30 to 45 minutes to go through. It's not that daunting. Only a couple of signatures, but I explained it very efficiently. Hopefully there's no questions as we're going through it. If there are, I'm always happy to answer them. But yeah, it's my number one goal to get us in and out very efficiently with a happy client that understands everything he's signed that day. So, with that,